Hello, I'm Anthony Deere,
I'm Jack Scorer.
and this is Unit 49, Task 2, where we're going to be doing 3 lessons to teach Jack a few guitar techniques and put them into practice. So for this one, we'll start with bends and vibrato. So let's start with vibrato first. So if you just pick any notes here on the G string. Yeah, so you can do a bit of vibrato there. So I've noticed you doing a little bit, which is something that I used to have a habit of as well, is rather than just kind of shaking the string, you're slightly bending it up and down a little bit. I mean, you are supposed to bend it a touch, but only so much that it shimmers rather than being, because then you don't get the rate of the vibrato as much. So try and bend it a little bit less, but shake it a little bit more. Yeah. And rather than just the one finger, although you're using one finger to fret, doing that and then shaking your whole hand. Here, you'll hear the difference. This is just a finger. Here's the whole hand. So much more resonance. Yeah, but do that, but also try and keep your hand, when you do it, square to the frets. The more you bring it, the more you angle it round, the more difficult it is to shake your whole hand and get the same sort of resonance to it. So that would be the main tip for vibrato, would be just again, just try not to bend too much. So it's like, so again, just bend it slightly, shake the whole hand, and try and keep it a little bit square. So it's like. It's difficult. It takes a while, because I think people generally start on bends a lot more than they do vibrato.
Yeah.
Because you're learning a bit of music that's got a simple lick. Like, you're more likely to start out just going with no sort of expression. But the vibrato, it takes a while, but eventually you start adding them into the bends, which we'll look at in the last lesson. Yep. And I find it easy as well. Yeah, to even I keep that finger behind there, and I can strengthen your vibrato as well, rather than just like keeping one finger like that. It feels a bit awkward, like you're only able to get your hand round, and so try to say a little lick there where you're going like. So the hand that I've hammered on, the finger that I've hammered on from, I'm still keeping that behind, and I can use both fingers to shake the string, whilst also shaking the whole hand. Yeah, that's good. So that's a good tip for vibrato. So again, briefly look at applying slides to that before going to bends. So if you're sliding up again from the same notes, yeah, again try and
get the finger behind as well.
It feels comfortable, as long as you feel like you've got control, because when you're going up and down the frets, like just in the box, obviously you know where your fretting fingers are, you know where your hand position is, it all feels comfortable. But you don't want to get to a position where you're coming up to the bend and then you're kind of losing the strength in your hands by just using one finger and having it in an awkward position, because then what you'll get is something like this. You know, where it's uncomfortable, it's hard to get the expression out of it. So I'd say just relax, you don't have to put any more power in. You don't have to bend so much. Just shake the whole hand. And if you're in a little pentatonic box there, if I find you having that finger behind does give you that extra strength that makes it less hard work.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It's a hard thing to really get down straight away. I would say it's definitely takes practice, but shaking the whole hand, leaving the other finger behind to give you strength, the same way you can with bends as well.
Yeah, I find I do that a lot. I find that quite. I would often like have at least 3. Usually.
Yeah. So if you've seen the fact that you've just done that bend there, and you've laid into the vibrato straight after, yeah, your vibrato sounds better doing that with that finger behind it. You've got more strength in the string.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot better.
Whereas just now, try and just play any note just on its own with one finger doing the vibrato. How much hard work that is. I see it's a lot of effort in your hand. But really, if the less you, the main tips I would say from that is the less that keep the other finger behind it, gives you a bit more strength. The less you bend it, think of it less as an up and down bend and more as like a wobble, where your whole hand shakes. So less of like this and more of this. And think about it as like if you're using like a delay pedal, you're not wanting like a you're not wanting if you're wanting the vibrato to be smooth, you're not wanting it to go like. You want it to be creating the shimmering, almost reverb effect to it. That's better, yeah. And again, a bit more square. My dad always used to say like that always when you're playing a power chord or you've got your hands around whatever you're playing, that you should be able to get like your finger in between there or a pencil in between there without. And that means that you're not going to. For one, you're not going to mute the strings and hit accidental strings that you're not meant to be, and also it allows you to keep your hand square to make it less hard work. And really shake, even if it feels silly, really just shake your hand. Like watch me full hand now. Like your hand's all over the place. You're gonna get much more. If your fingers fretting a note, you shake your whole hand, that's all going to come through expressively, whereas like just shaking the finger sounds okay, but this, again, you'll hear the difference here. So say those good tips for vibrato. In terms of bends, use the slides to inform where you need to be reaching those bends. So again, if we'll pick a simple lick, we'll see in D here. Something like that. If you were to slide from this 10th to the 12th, right, you can hear then that the bend there between the 10th and 12th needs to resolve there. So it needs to go. So if you're bending up and you're doing slightly under, like, right, you're essentially then bending to this instead of there. And it's okay if it's in a scale where you're bending into the notes in the scale, it's fine. Like so if it's like here, you could go. Because you can bend to there or there, and it's all going to sound good. Even if the bend's a little sharp, a little flat, it's still going to land on the notes within the scale. So like, but if you're back to where we were here, we're playing in D. you're bending from this 10th to the 12th, you don't want to be bending into this note on the 11th, because then it will stand out like a sore thumb, because this is it played correctly. This is it played incorrectly.
Where is that?
So from this note here on the 10th, so you want to bend all the way up to here. That's good. But if you're going like, if it's a bit under, it's out of the scale that you want to use, so it does stand out a lot more. So where you bend in a full tone and the semitone in between it isn't fitting in with what you're trying to play musically, then the bend is going to stand out like a sore thumb in terms of being too flat or too sharp.
When you do that, of course.
Yeah. And smoothing and out bends as well is another thing that's important, because if you bend from like even here to here, see what you've done there, you've bent almost too sharply initially. Or so essentially the whole thing, it's equaling, it's evening out the dynamics as much as possible. Like you don't want to go from playing a lick and have the bend where you hit it too hard, because one, it's like the dynamics are going from quite loud, which is okay sometimes, but not for something like that. You're trying to keep it all even sort of volume. Yep, that's good. So it's all about like keeping the dynamics smooth, so there's not like, so you're not concentrating on the bend too hard to where you're hitting it too hard and you're getting too much of an increase in volume, because not only does that stand out too much, like, but it also, if you hit it harder, it makes it harder to control.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like if all the power in it is, then the dynamic is the initial hit of the bend, then you might bend up sharply with quite a lot of power behind, and as you bend down, maybe there's less dynamic, so you're hearing the sharper element of it rather than hearing the whole thing as one smooth bend. Like if you go like, then it's harder to control the dynamics of it. So I would think when you're playing bends, vibrato, slides, try and keep the dynamically, try and just hit it the same power that you hit all the other notes.
Yeah.
And it'll keep the playing like smoothed out, so you can basically jump between bends, slides, and put vibrato in without there being noticeable difference in the way you're approaching those techniques. So if I was playing it badly, putting slides, bends, and vibrato in, where you can really notice that I'm putting too much into it. So if it's going like, whereas like something that's more smoothed out would be like, so it's like controlling the dynamics of what you're playing by not hitting things too hard. Bends, keeping your hand fully round the same way you do it doing chords. Keeping the finger behind it to give you a bit more control, and shaking your whole hand as well. The last thing on bends is if you've got like a scale here, so those first three notes, you've got the chromatic thing going on there. So you know the same way that you're bending up, and you can get away with doing a semitone or a full bend because it's within the scale. The same thing can apply for a down bend. You know if you're bending down here from this note or from this note, either way it's going to sound good, even if you're in between, because you're within the scale. And then you can even add some extra like up and down bends on it, when you know, to give it some real feel, like a. and down bends there after you've hit it. Some of them can be semitone, some of them can be full tone. You can really play with the dynamics of it. Yeah, like so, like.
Yeah.
And the other final thing I would say is try not to like put. Again, it's smoothing out the dynamics, so you don't want like the upward bend to really hear that loud above everything else, and then not hear the down bend of it. So it's like it's not just say hitting it and then leaving a delay and hitting it. It's bend at the same time, but try and do it smoothly, like. That's perfect. Do that, and then just at the end, as you bend down, so you bend. Doesn't matter. So if you're in this scale, for now, doesn't matter if you bend up a semitone or a full tone because you're going to be within the scale. But try and keep it an even keel, so it's like. Yeah, and as you come down, try and put a big reverb and shake your whole hand. Why you're not getting as much reverb at the end is because of that dynamic thing. I think there's too much in the up bend and not enough in the down. But hitting a little bit less and having a bit softer and having a bit more control with your left hand, it'll smoothen that out for you. There, that's better. That's good. So yeah, that's some good. I think it's good tips for vibrato, slides, and bends there. And the other thing I was going to say, I think I sidetracked myself, is use the slides to inform where your bends, how big the bends need to be. Mm-hmm. So you're going from there, full tone slide. So you know now if you want to play that lick again, say later in a song, then. You know, if you want to get from there to there, that's a full tone bend instead of a slide. But you're using the sound of the note that you're sliding up to inform where the bend needs to go up to. Exactly. So if you're going, but you'd see that you went too high. But by reinforcing the slides or even just hammer-ons, like. You're tuning your ear to knowing that when you go up to there by virtue of sliding, of bending, you'll be able to hear the flatness or the sharpness more because you're learning. Essentially, what I'm saying, it's a good long-winded way of saying it's a good way to learn licks all over the fretboard using slides, and bends to play the licks in different ways. So you can go like. And now you can, but now you can play the two back to back, and that'll help you hear where your bends are off or might be off. Yeah, cool. That's good. So I was 18 minutes. Yeah, I'm not bothered if they're a little bit longer.